Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Tuesday, and I'm here with a sketch challenge, as I always am at 2 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. So hopefully you'll joining me, and you can play along with this sketch. I kind of wasn't sure what I was going to do with this sketch. I had it as something different in my mind when I designed the sketch, but you never know what happens when you actually go to cut your cardstock and your designer series paper and everything you need. Other ideas come to your mind. And in fact, I cut my paper and then started thinking about it, and I've changed it even since that time. So that's kind of the kind of stamping on your go or designing as you go idea. So this is kind of a fun sketch. I'll share some of the ideas I had as I was designing and thought the way I was going to use it. And of course, you'll see what it actually turns out to be. So it's a cold, wet, rainy day here on the West Coast. And so you can kind of see I'm bundled up a little bit. I had to go out this morning and it was rainy and not nice out. So anyway, hopefully it's nicer where you are. And maybe you're actually doing some crafting in your space as well. All right, let me switch over and I'll show you the sketch and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. All right, so this is a sketch, and it's pretty easy. I'll tell you what I thought about when I designed this. I was thinking I was going to use designer series paper, and I am for this, because you can cut a square and then put the two pieces at top and bottom. And then I had it on my mind that I was going to stamp a sentiment along these angles, so a kind of a long, skinny sentiment. That was what I was thinking. But that's not the way it's going to turn out. So we'll see what you guys come up with when you make this. But so the card base is 5.5 by 8.5 or 4.25 by 11. And then there's a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5. Now I'm using basic white. And then your piece of either designer series paper or embossed cardstock or even cardstock, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and cut on the diagonal. And it will fit top and bottom. So that's the sketch. Pretty simple. We'll see how it turns out. Hello, welcome. All right, so I'm going to use the Merry and Bright. Actually, it's called Merry, Bold, and Bright is the suite. This bundle is Merry and Bright, and there is some gorgeous paper and some foils that I'm going to use. But it's a fun stamp, a bundle. It's actually a fun whole suite. It's bright, cheery colors, not really your traditional colors, but it's kind of fun. And I love these block. So these are the negatives. So they stamp out. So the words are actually in white, and then the background of them is in whatever color you stamp on. And then, of course, you've got the different lights, the regular lights and the twinkle lights, the filament for inside the lights, and some great sentiments, a wire. And then you've got lots of dies. So these we'll cut a set of lights, a string of lights, and each are twinkle lights or regular lights. Oops, that doesn't belong in there. I'll lose that one. You've got 2 of the dies to cut out the twinkle lights and then your regular lights. 2 of the dies to cut out the caps for the lights, or if you want an embossed version, there are 2 of those. This will cut out some strings for your lights, filaments, all sorts of really cool dies for this. Okay, where is my other? Now, oopsie. Kind of pre-cut some pieces here. So when I thought about the card, I was going to, so this is my layer number 1, which is 3 3/4 by 5. And then this is what I cut out. This was the way, oopsie, I'm losing my pieces, I was originally intending. This is my absolute favorite of the designer series paper that's in the suite. It's in Poppy Parade, which I absolutely love. So I cut this piece 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and it's going to go top and bottom. And part of me is kind of going, geez, Melva, you use this a lot, because I love this, fa la la. So I've switched it up. So I'm using this polka dot one on the top and bottom. So I kind of changed my mind as I was going. And then I thought, I've got a piece of thick basic white cardstock. And I thought, well, that's going to be kind of plain. So I've added another layer. So this layer that I added in that isn't in your instructions is just a touch, like just a peekaboo bigger. So if this is 3 3/4 by 5, this piece of Melon Mambo is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Just because I thought I needed something behind this really pretty paper. Don't think it matters which way they go. Anyway, so that's the way it's going to go. And I'm not going to stamp the sentiment like I thought I was going to. I've actually gone ahead and done some die cutting out of one of the things that's in this suite is the Melon Mambo and Granny Apple Green. And it kind of loses its foil. So I've cut some of the lights. Don't know if I'm going to use all of them. And I've cut some of the embossed caps. Can you see that? Embossed and actually little cuts in them in white for that. So that's my idea at the moment. We'll see how it actually comes together. Let's get things out of the way. I don't want to lose my die cuts. Okay, so I'm going to take my piece of thick basic white. I always use thick basic white cardstock when I'm using it for a card base. Hey Pam, welcome. So this is 4 1/4 by 11. And I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. And as always, fold into the mountain of the raised line and give it a good burnish. Okay. All right, let's grab pieces. So I'm going to take and adhere my basic white. Again, this piece of Melon Mambo, if you want to add another layer, you could either add a layer that is in 1/4 inch, so it would be 4 by 5 1/4, or you can do what I did and just have a little peekaboo of color. So it is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Up to you. I just wanted a little peekaboo of color. And these, doesn't matter which way these go. My sketch just has this going this way, so I'll actually do it the way the sketch is. So I'm just going to add it here. Polka dots are so fun. Every time I see these polka dots in this whole suite, I think of my friend Beth. Beth is a demonstrator from Iowa who some of you have met during our stamp camp. She's on the Creativity Abounds design team. And whenever we see cardstock or colors that are bright, bright and cheery, we always think of Beth because she loves bright colors, and this is one of her favorite stamp sets. All right, so I've already got my string. So I'm going to ink this up, and I'm using Tuxedo Black. So I'm going to take, and hopefully, yep, it will. I'm going to take and stamp my string. I could have stamped it before I had my cardstock, my designer series paper on, but I wasn't sure how wide it was going to be. So now I've got my string, and then I cut 2 each of the Melon Mambo and 2 of the how am I going to do that? One like that, maybe like that. Maybe like that. There. So we'll do that. But first of all, I'm going to use glue dots to adhere. You can use liquid glue. I kind of like just glue dots to adhere these the caps that are on the tops of my lights. I don't know. These are white. I'm probably, I don't know, maybe they're green on I guess it depends on what color your wire is on your lights, but I'm using white. And my wire is black, but that's okay. So these can just go, they just kind of go right on the top like that. And then I'm going to use dimensionals to put my lights on. And just so you can, I just adhere them so you can actually see the wire, the string underneath or through the hole. Kind of doing these one at a time. I've got them positioned where I want them, and no doubt I will forget. Yeah, you know, it's funny, but Pam, when I first saw this, in fact, this was one of the suites when we were looking for ideas for our upcoming Creativity Bound Stamp Camp. We knew that Beth would be choosing this one. She loves the bright colors. We ended up going with the Winter Meadow, but this was one. Well, actually, we kind of put all of the possible suites on the list, and then we go through a bit of a democratic process where we vote, and the one with the most votes is the one we choose. It's funny, some people kind of say, oh, I don't know about this one, I don't really like that one, but it's amazing. They always come up with such amazing projects. All right, isn't that a fun card? Yeah, I think it would have been, you know, when I first saw it, I was one of the ones that kind of went, I don't know about this one. But since I've started to play with it, I'm absolutely in love with it. Like that. Okay, now I need a sentiment. So I do love these sentiments, and I'm going to use Melon Mambo, and I'm going to stamp the Merry and Bright are the ones I'm going to use. Now, if you've got a 1/2 inch piece, so if you're trimming your cardstock for the inside of the card, save your little 1/2 inch strips because they're perfect for these. Of course, I didn't bring one. Let's stamp something on the inside of the card. I always need to do that. There's my... All right, let's do this. Holly Jolly. It's fun to be able to combine. So this one says, have a holly jolly Christmas. There, isn't that fun? So there's lots of different sentiments that you can use and kind of mix and match on this one. But we'll have to do some cutting on these. So again, save your little 1/2 inch strips that come off of the cardstock when you're cutting an inside. Because we tend to cut our insides, the inside piece, to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. So, all right. And then you don't have to worry about doing what I'm doing and kind of fussy cutting them. All right, so let's put Merry and Bright somewhere. I'm going to use mini dimensionals. I always use my take your pick tool to pull off the mini dimensionals. I have a hard time with the little ones. I don't have a hard time with the regular size dimensionals, but these little ones I find really hard to get off the piece of off the sheet, and also to get the backing off. Okay, so Merry and Bright. Let's just take and put them, there we go, like that. Okay, now the embellishment that comes with this is called Iridescent Adhesive Backed Discs. Comes in 4 colors, in Poppy Parade, Melon Mambo, Granny Apple Green. There is a white, and then kind of it's probably Pool Party, goes with blue. So I'm going to use these lovely Melon Mambo ones. Let's put some up. Use the Melon Mambo up here. And maybe we'll use a Granny Apple Green one down here just to mix it up a little bit. They're really fun. All right, so there is my card. It's always amazing to me how you can kind of change up a sketch and make it your own. So like I said, this is very different than what I thought it was going to be. I was going to do the sentiment along here and use designer series paper, but I love the card that I ended up with. And really, I was changing my mind even 10 minutes before I went live because I changed up the designer series paper and switched it up from the Fa La La because I've used so much of it because that's my favorite piece. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to play along with the sketch. It will go live at 2:30. So in about just under 15 minutes, it will go live on social media, Instagram, Facebook. So if you missed any of the measurements or you want to grab the sketch, it will be there for you. Don't forget to share your cards if you are on my Facebook group. Share your cards. I'd love to see what you're creating. And then every month, at the end of the month, I do a draw, or early the next month, from those who have shared cards, and I send you something in the mail. All right, I will be live tomorrow with a technique. We'll see what that technique is, but I hope you can join me at 2 o'clock Pacific tomorrow. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great day. Happy stamping. Bye.